cataractcoach.com. For floppy iris syndrome, let that relatively small pupil help you during the surgery. So here's a patient who does take Flomax, and we're anticipating floppy iris syndrome. We'll first instill the anesthetic, this is lidocaine with a little epinephrine, preservative-free, under the iris. That'll help increase the dilation a little bit, maybe give the iris a little bit more tone. Now with the dispersive viscoelastic, we can get a little viscomydriasis, using the viscoelastic to push the pupil a little larger. Now that made the pupil from about 4 millimeters to 5 millimeters, and that's very helpful. Holding the eye with a fixation ring, we're going to make our phaco incision here temporally, and that looks really good. And we'll enter the AC here. Good tunnel length. Important to have a good position of the incision so it doesn't contribute to the iris prolapse that is possible here. So let's make our rhexis, and notice for the capsulorhexis, we're going to make it slightly larger than the pupil. Pupil's perhaps 5 millimeters, we're going to aim for about 5.5. So as we bring this rhexis around, the edge of it you won't really see. It's a little bit under the iris here. Again, continuing it there, and if you look carefully, you'll see, yeah, it's definitely under the iris. So we're making a rhexis that's a little bit larger than the pupil dilation. We've lost some viscoelastic. The pupils come down to probably 4.5 now. Now we're going to do hydro-dissection, and our goal here is to bring the nucleus out of the bag without causing iris prolapse. So we'll go nice and slowly. Slow is the key. Get a fluid wave, prolapse it up, and then use the cannula to help really bring that nucleus up. And now the pupil is helping you. The pupil and the iris are holding the nucleus for you. The nucleus is tilted up on its edge, much like a coin on its side. We'll put a little bit extra of the dispersive viscoelastic in there to protect the corneal endothelium. And now we'll use our phaco probe, and we don't need too much energy here. We're going to do a lot of phaco chopping. So now the nucleus is tilted up like this. Once we adjust the phaco sleeve here, we'll put the phaco probe in the eye. There we go. Get the chopper in, and we can go around the nucleus, and let's get this thing chopped. So going right around it, and we'll chop the nucleus into halves. And with that first half, we can use the phaco probe to emulsify the nucleus. We're staying in the center. Now, it's very important here. Don't go near the iris. You don't want to draw the iris into the phaco probe. So even if you don't have a complete chop, just wolfing it down, staying centrally, debulking the nucleus, and then you get to this situation where we've got half the nucleus out. There's the remaining heminuclear piece, and we can simply use the phaco probe and emulsify it. Now, there's a balance. You don't want to ride the corneal endothelium. You don't want to be too close to the endothelium. We do have a good dispersive viscoelastic to protect the cornea. And we're using very little energy, and it's a very efficient maneuver here. And just like that, we're basically done with the nucleus removal. Now it's time to remove the lens cortex. Now, important that we get all this cortex out. Oh, there's a little nuclear piece too. We'll get that out as well. But with the eye probe, we're going to remove all of this. And we're going to also make sure that we go under the iris and check carefully so that we don't leave anything behind. We want to make sure that we get all the cortex out of the eye, make sure there are no little nuclear pieces that are left floating around. And so we'll take our time here to do this. One of the key moves here is to go under the iris, under like that, under the anterior capsular rim, to try grab tags or ends of that cortex and then peel it back. And sometimes you have to, like I'm going to show you, use the chopper, lift up the iris, and you can get a better view. Ah, there it is. That's what we want to grab. So much easier. And we can look as well in this area, and we can see everything we need to grab. Be careful of the capsule. You saw it can come into the probe there. And that looks pretty darn clean. So we're going to check again, completely under the iris in all quadrants after we put the lens in the eye. So we'll fill the eye with our cohesive viscoelastic. There's a nice big fill. I don't see any cortex left, and that did dilate a little bit. Now we'll fixate the eye, use the chopper here, and let's deliver the IOL. So that goes inside the eye. Single piece acrylic lens. Of course, these single piece acrylic lenses must be completely in the capsular bag. You do not ever want this type of lens in the ciliary sulcus. So use our chopper, let's dial it in the bag, make sure the haptics open up and position it where we want to. That looks great. And now let's check. Lifting up the iris, lifting it up there. Definitely have the IOL and the haptics under the rhexis. That looks great. That looks beautiful too. There's the rhexis edge. Fantastic. So we checked all meridians, all quadrants, and we're clean there. Let's take out our viscoelastic, including going behind the IOL. Remove that viscoelastic, and then we can seal up the incisions and finish the case. So important technique here, you don't need to use a ring or iris hooks for most of these cases. Even in a blue-eyed patient like this, we can avoid iris prolapse and we can avoid having floppy iris issues. The key is let the smaller pupil help you by holding the nucleus in place. Just make sure you have a sufficiently large capsulorhexis. Thank you for watching.